Okay, so October 6th, 2022. Discovery of a new function of cerebellum. I still am kind of sick, guys, so forgive me. University of Basel. The cerebellum is known primarily for the regulation of movement. Researchers have now discovered that the cerebellum also plays an important role in remembering emotional experiences. Cerebellum is known as primarily for regulation of movement. Researchers at the University of Basel have now discovered that the cerebellum also plays an important part of remembering emotional feelings or experiences. That's because in order to activate the cerebellum, you activate your root chakra. It shoots that substance of your spine into your brain, which activates cerebellum. Both positive and negative emotional experiences are stored particularly well in memory. That's how come a bad experience causes trauma. A good experience creates love. Simple. This phenomenon is important to our survival, since we need to remember dangerous situations in order to avoid them in the future. Previous studies have shown that a brain structure called amygdala, which is important to the processing of emotions, plays a central role in the phenomena. Emotions activate the amygdala, which in turn facilitates the storage of information in various areas of cerebrum. The current research led by Professor Dominique de Quervain and Professor Andres, whatever his pastoposis, at the University of Basel, investigates the role of the cerebellum in strong emotional experiences. In a large-scale study, researchers showed 1,418 participants emotional and neutral images and recorded the subject's brain activity. In memory tests conducted later, the positive negative images were remembered by the participants much better than the neutral images. The improved storage of emotional images was linked with an increase in brain activity in the areas of cerebrum, already known to play a part, where the team also identified increased activity in cerebellum. Cerebellum is communication with cerebrum. The researchers were also able to demonstrate that the cerebellum shows stronger communication with various areas of cerebrum during the process of enhanced storage, which means it lights up both right side and left side of your brain. It receives information from the cingulate gyrus, a region of the brain that is important in perception and evaluating feelings. Furthermore, the cerebellum sends out signals to various regions of the brain, including the amygdala and the hippocampus. The latter plays a central role in memory storage. These results indicate that the cerebellum is an integral component of a network that is responsible for the improved storage of the emotional information. Although an improved memory for emotional events is a crucial mechanism for survival, it does have its downsides. In the case of very negative experiences, see, that's why you heal traumas so you don't create a split, which causes mental or emotional damage. Mental damage would be PTSD. psychosis, schizophrenia, multiple personalities, other things like OCD, PTSD, social anxiety, so on. So it's also relevant in helping understand psychiatric disorders. Yeah, because if you teach someone to meditate, you teach someone to heal their mind. Plain and simple. So watch this.
But you have to be open to that and even ready. So here we go. Primitive Christians, the Essenes, fully realized and taught the great truth that Christ was a substance, an oil, or an ointment, contained especially in the spinal cord, consequently in all parts of the body, as every nerve in the body is directly or indirectly connected with the wonderful river that flows out of Eden, the upper brain, to water the garden. The early Christians knew that scriptures, whether written in Hebrew or Greek, were allegories, parables, or fables based on the human body, fearfully and wonderfully made. You have to understand the etymology of these words, what they mean. So, Christos in Greek is oil, sacred oil. These adepts knew that the secretion, the gray matter, the gray creative, which issues or secretes from the cerebrum, was the source and cause of the physical expression called man. And they knew that the river of Jordan was symbolized in the spinal cord, and that the Dead Sea was used to symbolize the sacred plexus at the base of the spinal column, where the Jordan, the spinal cord, ends, typifying the entrance of Jordan into the Dead Sea. The thick, oily, and salty substance composed the sacral plexus, the quota equina, which means the horse's tail in Latin, which is that's our tail, all the nerves that run through our sex organs from our sacrum, from our lower spine. It looks like fine hairs of a horse's tail, so they called it the quota equina. The horse's tail may be likened to a crude petroleum, petra, mineral or salt, and oleum, Latin for oil. And the thinner substance, oil or ointment in the spinal cord, may be compared with coal oil. And when this oil is carried up to the crosses of the Ida and Pingala, the two fluid nerves that end in a cross in the medulla oblongata, where it contacts the cerebellum, Golgotha, the place of the skull. This fluid is refined as coal oil is refined to produce gasoline, a higher rate of motion that causes the ascension of the airship. Okay, so
the links to that video will be below in the video. That is Motivation Manifest. Good channel. Check them out. Very informative. That was for educational purposes only, to explain what I had just read in the article.